Chapter 3 of Poppy Playtime just got a massive new teaser trailer with a bunch of brand new secrets, including new looks at the main antagonist Catnap, a bunch of new plot details, and so much more. So most recently, the website playtimecode.org that held the Chapter 3 ARG hasn't gotten an update in a couple weeks, leaving people to wonder if the ARG was finally over. And then out of absolutely nowhere, looking at the ARG website today, it has completely shut down and now reads the error message, exception access violation, terminal lockout. Security from EEPROM invalid. This machine has invalid or missing security credentials. Please contact your administrator to re-image your machine. Or in other words, the ARG is now completely shut down, at least for the time being. And this is interesting because if you don't remember, throughout the ARG, we were talking with a mysterious figure who was leaking to us all of the Chapter 3 documents we have today. However, now that this website is down, we'll presumably not be able to talk to them ever again. However, what people pointed out as interesting about this graphic is that if you look at the top, there are a ton of numbers as some sort of error code, and on the surface, it just seemed like a bunch of gibberish that didn't have any meaning. However, server member Mirko noticed and pointed out that this appears to be some type of hexadecimal encryption, which essentially just encrypts pairs of numbers and letters onto graphs that translate into a code. For instance, the first pair in the code is a 4 and a 3, which line up together to make the letter C, and when doing this for every single number pair, we end up getting the code CDBGK5JLSF8. Again, a bunch of gibberish. But what makes this matter is that there are specifically 11 numbers in this cryptic code, which is the exact amount of numbers labeled in a YouTube video ID. So if you then type youtube.com/ all of these different numbers and press enter, we are taken to a brand new unlisted video by Mob Entertainment titled Catnap Recall, that when playing first shows a VHS entering sound in the classic What's the Time Playtime tune that we've heard before, then replaying the original Smiling Critters cartoon that I'm sure you guys have already seen before of all of these smiling critters trying to fall asleep before Catnap comes in and spits out the red gas. But this time, at the end of the video, it cuts to a news anchor reporting on the cartoon playing this.
Everyone knows Huggy Wuggy and Poppy Playtime, but are your children safe from Playtime Co.'s latest toy? What you've seen here is Playtime Co.'s own Smiling Critters, a limited series cartoon meant to celebrate the release of the toys sharing its name. Yet both now face the fire sparked by the inclusion of one key member. This is Catnap. And like the others of his line, you just pull his little tail and seems innocent enough. However, parents across the country report their children experiencing strange and often violent nightmares, and beside them, their little grinning Catnap doll. Now, with controversy growing, Playtime Co. has announced the recall of all Catnap toys from the Smiling Critters line. His image cleared from all promotional material. But damage already done. Will disappearing be that easy? The exact cause of these incidents still unknown. Only one thing appears glaringly certain. Your children are not safe with Catnap.
So yeah, basically this news anchor talks about how Catnap, the toy version, was recalled from Playtime Co.'s factories, as for some reason, whenever parents received the Catnap toy, the children who were given it were experiencing horrible nightmares, which first off already tells us a couple things. For one, this finally explains to us exactly how Catnap, and for that matter, all of the other toys worked inside of Playtime Co. To activate them, you pull on the tail of the smiling critter where it releases the gas. Simple enough. But the news anchor said a bunch of children were supposedly getting nightmares from this doll without ever explaining what happened. And what's interesting is while they leave it up to a mystery, they already answered this exact question for us in a report from the Chapter 3 ARG, where an employee had said the actual Catnap toys didn't smell like lavender, the scent from his character description, and rather he instead blew out the infamous red mist shown in the cartoon and his bigger body, which is super odd. But this most likely explains what was happening with these news reports. Somebody had tampered with the catnap dolls and gave them all this raging sleeping gas used in the play care to put all of the orphans to sleep, but then for some reason actually sent it out into stores for people to buy, with the super dark promotional cartoon causing public outrage against the factory. However, going back to the news tape itself, another couple interesting things worth pointing out is that while the news video isn't dated with a year or anything, this seems to be the only case we have of one of Playtime Co.'s secrets actually getting out into the public. And therefore, this is also when we can expect the company to begin to get more strict about their secrets and rats like Rowan stole from the last ARG, who could try to leak the rest of the company's secrets before it's too late. And the news anchor even says at the very end an extremely interesting quote saying,
"Only one thing appears glaringly certain. Your children are not safe with catnap."
And while on the surface this appears to be just some creepy dialogue to make catnap seem more freaky, when you listen to him say this, you will hear a bunch of children screaming, very similar to the children screaming in the other chapter 3 teasers inside of the play care. And this matters because this last line from him is very much a double meaning, with him first obviously talking about the catnap toys who were giving the children nightmares at home before being recalled, but also at the same time the anchor is talking about the play care and what happens to the orphans in the actual factory, saying your children are not safe with catnap while the children from the play care scream, as a reference to the monster version of catnap we see lurking in the factory, seemingly hinting at the idea that for one reason or another catnap was a danger to them as well. So overall, this little teaser is already absolutely insane, and I can't wait for more chapter 3 news to come out. Plus, along with this, we even got a thumbnail that shows more of the catnap toy, which if you brighten shows what I believe is a little Huggy doll here inside of possibly the piston area we've gotten some screenshots for before. But if this news isn't enough for you guys, now that the ARG is officially shut down and we can't even access any of the files anymore, this pretty much seems like the actual end of the ARG. Meaning, sure, there's not going to be any more updates to the computer database, which sucks, but this only leaves one more thing for the developers to actually release: the Chapter 3 gameplay trailer, which will certainly come super soon. But in the meantime, they did give us a couple extra Chapter 3 updates on their Discord server, where a dev, when asked about Chapter 3's horrors, simply said, "It's darker than the other chapters, yeah." Where somebody replied saying, "I'll need to equip a bigger flashlight then." Getting the interesting response, "Oh, you'll have something for that." So perhaps this could be some sort of tease of other new items coming in the game, like a flashlight, or maybe I'm looking way too deep into it. But the biggest thing people are wanting from the devs is updates. When will the game release and where is it? In fact, a lot of fans are actually worried the game could even get delayed because it's December now and there's still no trailer. But the devs have actually made a few different responses to all of this backlash, simply saying it's better to not be a Cyberpunk and other games that release too early, along with, what if it gets delayed? Isn't that better for quality? And just be patient. Which is the devs basically saying to wait up because there is a lot more coming, obviously, but they also definitely play with the idea of the game possibly getting delayed if they need it to. Now, no, this isn't a confirmation the game is delayed until 2024 or anything, but this does tell us that the devs are very much valuing quality over quantity and are willing to delay the game if they had to, which at a core is a good thing if it means the chapter is going to be better, even though I totally understand why people would be upset about it. But for now, it's December, and as far as we know, it's officially Chapter 3 release month with a whole new trailer already released. So what are your thoughts?